Good morning, David.
Morning. Hey,
Yeah,
another Wednesday. Here we
uh,
are
as the old song says, together again.
together again. Yeah,
Well, you're wrapping up your Karmic Relief Series today. This will be the final session, Class 6 at heartlightcharlotte.org if people want to catch up with that at 11 a.m., the full version. But we're going to discuss a little bit this morning about what you have coming up. And it feels like what you're dealing with today is kind of the break free moment, the tail end of and the goal of all this series is breaking free, right?
right. This is a recap and just putting it together and leading us toward the actual experience of breaking free from the pain body and what that entails.
Well, some of the viewpoints and things you shared, one of them that primarily stuck out with me is recognizing that the pain is not my identity. It's not who I am.
Yeah, most of us, if we would share some of our past traumas and dramas and issues that we've had in the past is not happening now. Now, if it's happening
Mhm.
now, you need to go seek some kind of help if you're in an
Right.
abusive relationship or something. But most of it is in the past. And we have to
Yes.
remember the past is just in the memory. And therefore, we give way too much energy to the memory as something that's present. So when we change the idea of what being present means, we begin to diminish our connection to the pain body.
Yeah, there's a phrase that as you were teaching on this that came up in my mind that has worked for me is saying to myself, I have a pain rather than I am the pain.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what the what we call ego part of the mind wants us to do is identify with the
Yes.
pain, with the trauma, with the drama. And of course, those powerful two words, I am, is so powerful that that's what gives power to something that isn't even real, but it's only in the
Hmm.
memory, but it feels and seems real.
Yes. And the pain that we're experiencing, the suffering is really it's just an experience. We're having an experience of something. And that really shifted me. It helps me get my consciousness outside of it rather than grasping and struggling and wrestling with it so much.
Mhm. And again, I think this new idea that's really been catching on in the last few decades, which is a contribution of a quantum idea of the observer, the more that
Yes.
we are in connection and present with the observer, because the observer is neutral. It's just
Yes.
observing things and perceiving it as good or bad, right or wrong, dark or light. So if we identify with that, then we're missing really what presence really means. Presence is being in your true identity, your true
Yes.
self.
It's for me, observing takes on the idea of I'm experiencing that pain. That is a pain that I'm experiencing. It kind of sets it, gives it more distance. I get further away from it, you might say.
Right, exactly. So a lot of people ask, things like how long does it take to get rid of the pain body? Is it some things that we do, psychotherapy, sometimes people are in it for years and never attain what they're trying to attain. Some people do get help from these things, but it seems like those are things that are still based on in time. And I
Yeah.
don't think the pain, I think presence that we're talking about, which is called satori, in the transcript, which
Yeah.
means being present, is a present. It's like the universe gives you a present of being present, which is choosing to be present with something and being with it rather than into it. And that's very
Okay.
Buddhist. They separate pain from suffering. Suffering is in the mind, how I
Yes.
see pain.
Yes. Yes, it is. And the pain body is kind of the awakener, can be the awakener to being present with something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, it's a great awakener if people realize that I'm not a victim to it, but I hold my power as observer of it. And what I observe and change that observation to be is how it actually manifests or shows up and becomes that in my consciousness.
And so, to become present also how would you describe being present with something rather than uh, succumbing to it? What's the difference between being present and giving over to something?
Well, yeah, being present merely means holding it in a neutral state. It's kind of my idea of contemplation of things. We're so quick to react into the third dimension, which is a dimension of polarities of this and that, right and wrong,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. And when we react, that's where we go. But if we kind of stand away from it, even pause for long enough to disconnect with it, but yet see it for what it is, but at the same time disconnect with it is what diminishes the pain body. Because the pain body stays the pain body because it feeds on itself over and
Yes.
over and over again.
Yes. Yeah. It's seeking attention, isn't it?
Oh, man, big time. And it will prove itself by using the law of attraction or frequency resonance to bring in something to prove something
Yes.
that it wants us to believe in and identify with.
Well, and a little tool I've used to kind of relieve my fixed attention on pain and suffering or a situation that I'm in is I've even taken a tablet of paper and written down in detail how I'm feeling about something. Then I'll look out into the room and find something pleasant and describe it in detail
Mm,
until my attention is off the pain. So I'm taking my attention, deliberately giving some of the attention to the pain body, but then moving out of it. And the more I do that, it seems like it creates that disconnect and gives me more space. I recover a lot of my attention energy that way.
that's really good. We all need to really hear what you're saying there because that's a great exercise to do to really uh, to diminish the energy and the power of the pain body over us. It's
Yes.
with us, but it does not need to be over us.
Well, and a viewpoint I have of it is it's a little bit of my identity wanting a lot of my attention. So I'm going to take control in a sense or a measure of management over it, give it a little bit, and then remove it. Give it a little bit more and remove it. And anyway, that's really helpful as an idea for people, if you're wanting to manage it a little bit better.
Yeah, so today in the class, we're going to look at some of these things like one of the first steps of this process we're talking about of breaking free is going to be in recognizing.
Yes.
Spirituality is not a denial system. It is the
Yes,
ability to face something from a higher vibration and
it is.
perspective. And that's important. Also, knowing breaks the identification with it. When I know
Yes.
who I am, when I know that I'm an energetic spiritual being, created whole and whole that, then I'm not feeding the pain body any longer. And of course, what you don't feed becomes weaker and weaker in itself.
And this all, it sounds like we're just really becoming honest with where we are and recognizing where we are and what we're experiencing and not struggle with it and continue suffering as a result, but really, really becoming aware, the observer, non judgmental over our life experience. And in that, comes freedom.
It does. And we're going to be diving into some of those kind of ideas and try to put together the last several weeks of what the class has been about so that we can leave people with something to really use if they choose to do that, that can be brought into their life. This is something that really on a daily basis we should visit this idea of presence over pain body. It should
Yes.
be just like meditating or doing anything that we do spiritually or energetically every day. We need to include this kind of teaching into our consciousness.
Well, we need a daily practice, and at the bottom of each of your sheets that you share at heartlightcharlotte.org, these teachings are going to be there for a while. People can go there and download your handouts, and at the bottom there's a practice that you can do that gives people, a measure of a tool that they can utilize. So we'll look forward to being with you today at 11 a.m. at heartlightcharlotte.org. And again, if people want to know more and experience more of your teachings, they can get a little free membership by visiting davidhulse.com. That's David, HULSE.com. And we'll see you at 11 today, Eastern
All
time.
right. Great. Thank you, Randall. Have a great day.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Bye.